Money boy, money boy, money boy. Trade. Money boy, money boy, money boy. Trade.
Private jet flights overseas. Damn pieces coming by the week.
So when I pour that juice into his cup, do you think my 6-year-old is going to drink it? If my 6-year-old is more intelligent than you as a grown person, there is a problem. There is a problem because the 6-year-old knows that it's made available for him. Not only is it made available, it's right in front of him. And he's not going to take it. What does it say about a grown person when all of these things are grown people's accountability and responsibility things? Here's the first part. In order for you to even be exposed to Planned Parenthood as an option, you got to be having sex.
Ding. You're right. I put down in the comment section, I said condoms and birth control are available too. Are they forcing these black people to take it? Since you want to say they forcing them to do the abortions. This is why I say women are stupid. No, respectfully, no offense taken, but that's what because you always get the same stuff. It's always somebody else's fault.
So I want to, Kimbo is right. Kimbo says that people aren't angry. And I think that that's a lot of what the issue is. Like I've been sitting with a large amount of very successful Black and brown people in this melanated community in America. And all of us are not high earning and that's it, but high earning and high contributors to our community. And so when we sit and we look at some of the things that we get from these people when we're doing the work that we do in the community, and we're not out here doing no 501Cs, you understand what I'm saying? This is just extra work that we put into young people, extra energy that we're pouring into young people in these Black and brown communities. And it's not about them not having the means. It never is. Because I've told you guys several times, these women are on assistance. Men are on assistance, but they have plenty of money in the bank. So it's not access.
Can I address
government assistance?
I want to. Yes, they do. They don't receive it as much. But I want to address urban therapists. Money, being a billionaire is available to you. Are you forced to become a billionaire, sir? Because if so, we behind like a motherfucker in the world.
Says you're not marketing liquor to your kids. The harmful stuff the government allows is being marketed, and you can influence people via marketing, but you can't. So let me make this clear. I'm a person who has never, ever consumed any illicit substance in my life, ever.
You sure they didn't force you? You sure they didn't force you to taste it? Are you sure they didn't? They didn't force you to take any drugs through your life?
No, they sure did. They forced her.
Even when I came and I went through officer's basic course through the military, and they talked about which drugs they would be in certain as far as vaccinations and things like that. Guess what? All these lengthy forms that various people don't read, that's your choice. They're letting you know these are things that are a requirement of the position. Do you have any issues with that?
My first encounter with prescription drugs came through the military in the form of Tylenol 3.
They didn't force you to take it.
No, they didn't, but they made it. Yes, they didn't, but they had it there for injuries. It was for legit injuries. If you had injuries, they prescribed it.
I've had morphine made available. I still do now because I have chronic pain because I was a prisoner of war 4 times. So I still have internal injuries as a result of the things that I suffered from being tortured for 4 months on end. That's just from one. So what's interesting to me is that people will say, oh, well, I got this available and that's available. That was made available. That was made available. I can have as many drugs as I want to in my system at any given time, and I've never taken any of them. I believe in holistic wellness because that's what my belief system drives me to do. So the question is, what is your belief system? How can anybody manipulate you into doing anything that you're not already interested in? Because manipulation only pushes people to do the things that they have a desire to do, but they're unsure as to what the outcomes will be. So they need additional validation to step into that place and do that thing.
Okay, yeah, I see where you're getting at. You're right.
It's
You
temptation, just like the devil.
Well, let me interject real quick, guys. Like, yeah, it is your choice to do the right thing and be, procreate. And I'm gonna use this analogy with surgery.
Don't say the right thing though. Don't say the right thing. Just say it's about, because it's not about right or wrong. It's about what's conducive and what's not conducive. See, that's what I want Black people. I don't want them to hear this and think that there has to be an innate right or wrong. I want them to think about outcomes, because I think
you guys are talking about accountability. So
exactly, when it comes to accountability,
it's the right thing to take accountability on the poor choices you make in life.
You're talking about responsibility. Responsibility differs from accountability by way of it not being a universal law of right or wrong. So accountability only means that I'm being held accountable for what my actions are in this particular thing.
And they're making irresponsible choices by
that's the responsibility.
Having kids out of wedlock. But it's the thing I want to talk about though. Mm-hmm. The system is set up for you to make bad choices. For example, a surgeon that deals with women having babies, like each C-section is I think $10,000 or whatever. They get like a $10,000 bonus or something like that. And it's like, yo, if he's behind on his mortgage, he's not gonna do the he's not gonna do the moral right thing. He's gonna do what's gonna help him and his family out. And he's gonna try to figure out how many C-sections can he get popping in one day. You know what I'm saying? So 4 C-section is like $40,000. Boom. That first set in 4 hours, he done caught up paying his mortgage. You know what I mean? Now if he got child support to pay a baby mama terrorist, shoot, he might reach for 8 C-sections. You know what I mean? This is what I'm saying, man. You got people.
I'm gonna make that clear, because as a person who I've done C-sections, I've done vaginal births, deliveries. So your C-section only costs that much because you're paying a couple of different entities. When we bill out services as medical doctors,
they're getting paid in a position to making an immoral choice.
It's not. Same thing with that's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you. You think
public defendants.
No, you think that the person is getting paid more than they're getting paid. Just because it's costing you more doesn't mean that the physician is getting paid more. The physician gets paid the same amount. You're paying more because the hospital charges their fee, which is higher, because in order for you to have a
cut off that, man.
But they don't. No, we don't. A physician is paid the same regardless of what type of birth, whatever type of delivery it is.
So, Dr. Jefferson, you said, okay, hold on. Okay, you saying y'all already have a set fee when y'all meet with your patient and decide I'm going to be the one to deliver your baby. You don't get anything extra when you go?
Don't get anything extra. Doesn't matter how they choose to deliver their baby. The cost goes up because the facility cost is going to go up when it comes to you having a cesarean. Cesarean is a complex surgery, and we're using an operating room and utensils, tools to perform that surgery that are different than the ones that we're using when we're doing a vaginal birth. So you're in a different place, all right? It's a whole different room. You not only have your labor room and your recovery room, but you also have a surgical room that has to be prepared. So that's additional staff members. You're paying for 6 additional
anesthesia.
Yeah, wait, that's the anesthesiologist is sometimes a part of the process, even for vaginal birth. So they get paid the same rate too. It just depends on.
No, I was just saying they use different anesthesia for a C-section than they do with the vaginal birth.
Not all the time. Sometimes we can use a local for a C-section as well. So it's based off of how the mom responds to the epidural being placed in, because not everybody's back is prepared for us to use the epidural, and we can use as much as we need to. We can make you completely numb to do the C-section with it, but some people have to be put all the way to sleep because we can't get it in because they're either having bulging discs or compressed discs, or they can't bend over the right way for us to, make the insertion without causing significant vertebral damage. So these are things that we're thinking about when we make that decision to call in an anesthesiologist to use something different. But either way, those different charges are based on the operating room cost, because now you have another room to pay for. So it's like you being on a trip. You planned a trip. Your trip advisor is still going to get paid their set fee. If you need additional accommodations while there, you can request those additional accommodations through whatever resort you're staying on, because you might need them. So maybe you need access to an additional handicap feature, or you need access to a private masseuse, right? Guess what? You're going to pay that private masseuse, but you're not going to pay your trip advisor more money. So it doesn't matter. When you talk about prescriptions, however, that's a whole nother conversation when it comes to MDs and that part. But when we're talking about fees for surgeries, and we're talking about whether or not these are viable or productive outcome type of decisions that people have to make, it doesn't matter what type of surgery you decide to deliver your baby, the risk is still going to be high. We have women hemorrhage every day from giving vaginal births and cesarean births, because there are certain things that happen as a woman's body transitions on the inside to give birth to a child that we cannot say will or won't affect blood clots. So that's just a part of the process. So when we talk about accountability and responsibility, when people have engaged in sex and they say, well, you know what, sex was made available to me. and then they say, we're not ready to be parents. Abortion clinics are made available to me.
You can't ignore the fact that Margaret Sanger, with the whole parenthood movement, wasn't racially motivated. You know what I mean?
Rush, even if it was, they did not make black women go take the service. Like Planned Parenthood, me seeing Planned Parenthood did not, and choices did not make me go out and start fucking just because I saw the building there.
Exactly.
It's like the health department giving away free condoms didn't make me want to go get condoms. Every adult should know by now, you can go to your local health department and they will give you a bag full of condoms. You get about 100 of them. How many people actually take advantage of it?
Yo, listen, I'm not saying that they don't have a choice. They do have a choice. But it's just funny how Parenthood was racially motivated to, conjure up genocide for the black children. And on top of that, there's a Parenthood on every corner in the hood. I don't see Planned Parenthood.
It's not one in every hood. Memphis only has like two.
Obviously,
as big as Memphis is, it only has 2 Planned Parenthoods.
But why though? Let me explain that to you guys. Marketing is about supply and demand, right? And Mr. Brooks, we're gonna definitely address and dive into your comment, but there was another one up here. I think K Du Jour made. Yeah, this one. We're gonna dive into that one, and there's one more that I'm gonna really get into, because I need you guys to come to the table for this one, because at the point where we start to see more celebrities dying and it's forced on us, and they're coming from our particular subculture of people. When you tell me that you see that happening, but you can make excuses for as to how that's happening. And you can say, well,
hold on. Let me say this real quick. Let me say this real quick. It's not a coincidence that the music industry, Planned Parenthood, the prisons are all moving in one chord. Like a lot of these rappers, they own shares on private prisons, but yet they selling our black children into prison by the music.
That's a smart investment, sir. Sir, Rush, okay, because I get tired of hearing the music pushing. What about movies? Are you not going to say nothing about the message that these folks are doing in these movies where they shoot motherfuckers up and kidnapping them and beheading them and stuff? all these scary movies. Is that not an agenda to make psychos and shit?
But
Or
it's
is
a
the government trying to make more Michael Myers?
You could deny all this, but
It's
our
not
culture.
denying. It's giving you a
Our culture.
contrast.
Let me finish. Let me finish real quick. Our culture promotes killing each other. Like we're the only race of people
So does
that
rock and
enjoy
roll.
killing our own people.
So does
And
rock
the
and roll, and
music
so do
industry
scary movies.
pushes that. The
So
music
wait,
industry, the music industry pushes that.
but it doesn't.
So
The
you're
music.
telling
The
me it's a
movie
coincidence
industry.
that
Wait, let me say
hold
this.
on. You're telling me it's a coincidence that music industries labels have shares of private prisons and they're promoting gang violence?
Yes, it's a
Come
good
on, dog.
business investment.
It's not a
It is.
coincidence, man. Same thing with the Cardi B. What do they conjure up in our community? Black
But it
single
doesn't.
mothers.
No, let
You know
me
what I'm saying?
explain. Let me explain.
Every
So
hood.
black single mothers,
It's not a coincidence, man. These
that's
things go
already
hand
been
in
a thing,
hand.
though. It's already been a thing. So black single mothers were a thing. Therefore, music indicated that it was a thing because it's a popular culture of American culture and it's accepted. Killing us killing us has already been a popular thing. So because it was a popular thing, the music shifted to highlighting these inadequacies in our community because these are things that we normalize and we accept. All of these things that you see in music are results of the culture already stepping into those places and having those societal norms become what they are. So music can only convey the message that culture has already taught them is a norm. That's all music does. It takes what the experience of the person are, whatever those experiences are, and it magnifies it because now they're using that as a scene as a method to express themselves. It's that's it. That's it. The news only highlights what's already been going on.
Maybe you can't understand what I'm saying because
Oh no, I understand what you're saying.
you're not around those kind of aggressive environments, so you
I've
can't really,
listened to
you know what I
those.
mean?
I've listened to those verses. I don't necessarily approve of Cardi B's rhetoric. I don't necessarily approve of any of the music since Lil Kim, to be honest with you. But the idea is this is a culture that was already there. The music is indicative of the culture, not the culture indicative of the music.
And Russ, you've listened to rap just as much as me. You ain't went out and pulled
I
no
don't.
drive-bys or done
First
no
of all,
shit to get us put in jail.
the
So it goes
the
back to
the
it goes
artists
back
I
to
listen to does not promote gangs and violence.
well,
You know what I
sir,
mean?
you're talking
I
about
grew
what
up
you're
listening.
talking about.
I grew up
Okay,
listening to
Russ.
cannabis. Who else? KRS One. All these artists have different styles and different messages
So you've
that they
never
put
listened
out.
to any trap music. You've never listened to Gucci, Jeezy, T.I., none of that.
No,
You
I'm
didn't
from
listen
the
to
East Coast. No,
NWA
I
growing up.
wasn't
You
raised to
ain't,
listen to that. I'm from the
so
old
you
school
weren't
era where
listening to Wu Tang and them.
we had
You weren't
ciphers
listening to
and we
Wu Tang.
freestyle and we used witty words and rhymes to get our point across. That's the era I'm
Notorious
from.
Big
I'm
talked
not from.
about.
I'm
Do
not
you
from
listen to
Memphis where they
Notorious
listen
Big,
to
right?
all that.
Okay, but you listen to Notorious Big, right?
Of course.
Okay, Notorious Big talked about selling drugs and shooting niggas, raping hoes, raping kids, and he
Nah,
never influenced you to
nah.
want to do that.
That's his premise of his whole album is not that.
Dude, my point is, nigga, you've listened to rap just like me, and neither one of us decided to go out here and do the shit that rappers were talking about. So you have to stop saying that the music pushes this message on people unless you saying black people are dumb and they're easy manipulated.
That's what I'm
Listen,
saying.
man. Like I said, you do have a choice, and it's your responsibility to make the right choice.
But
But
that's what I'm saying. If you
if you're
don't have
hold on,
foundation, how
if
can you
you're
make the
being
right choice?
baited to influence you to choose to do the right thing, then yo, that's an issue. And
I've
y'all
never
gotta
been
ignore
baited by
that. You know
music
what I
or
mean?
I've never been baited by music or entertainment to do anything in my life. And I've been watching TV just as long as you. We're around the same age. I'm 38. That shit has never influenced me to want to go out and do the shit the rappers were talking about. You have to be stupid to want to do this because niggas know it's entertainment.
So what do you think about what do you call these things? The reality TV. Because reality TV
Oh,
is
that's even worse. Those reality TV shows is even worse. But go ahead,
And
Doc. Go ahead. Go ahead.
it's supposed to mimic reality though of the
yeah,
black community.
First of all,
exactly.
it's real reality. Them niggas get scripts and all
It
that.
is. So that's what I'm telling you.
Let's not
That's
even
We
go
know
there.
this.
so that's what I'm telling you. Music is scripted the same way that reality TV is scripted because the reality in society has to happen first. After the reality in society happens in an abundance, it becomes accepted or not accepted. So if it's not accepted and we push it away and we label it as deviant and we avoid those types of behavior, we never move to the place where these things make music because guess what? We've already decided that these things are defiant and they're deviant ways of being. So as a society, we didn't
Let me
accept
say this,
that.
Doc. Let
We
me say
don't
this,
make
Doc.
the music.
If these um TV stars that's doing the reality shows and these rappers, they pushing a certain agenda, right? They
Mhm.
have no type of influence towards the masses. Is that what you're telling me?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the influence on the masses is the repeated, perpetuated cycles of behaviors that were already there before the music. The music only normalizes further what's already there. It has to be there first. Nobody can make music. You cannot name me a single song that talked about the fucking future ever.
So she's saying gangster rap, niggas were killing before gangster rap became invented. That's what she's
Right.
saying. Niggas were already doing drive-bys, selling crack, and doing all that
I
stuff before
I,
Easy
I,
E made his song.
I disagree. I'm gonna tell you why I'm gonna use this example.
So
Let me
Standing
was
on a corner straight
before
slaying the
when?
knots.
let me speak.
Hold up,
Don't get
Russ. When
emotional,
was
Trey.
rap
Let me
Big
created?
ass
speak.
knots. Like, where do
You're
you
getting
think that comes
emotional,
from?
Trey.
He's
Let me
telling a
speak.
story.
When
Let me
was rap
speak, guys.
created, Russ? Oh,
Let me
before you speak, answer
let me
when
speak,
rap was
guys.
created.
Let
Just
me let
answer
me
when rap was
let me.
created.
I'm not. Listen. Let me speak, sir. You're getting too emotional. Relax.
When was rap created,
Let's
sir?
let,
Since you
let can I
saying
speak?
niggas
Can
weren't
I
killing
speak?
and selling crack before rap. When did it
Can I
create? When
speak,
was rap
sir?
created? Yes, I
Can I
want you to
speak?
answer that question though. I want
I'm
you to
not
answer that
answering your
question.
question. Let me speak. Let me get to my point.
See,
Okay,
this is
so
what niggas
avoid.
do.
Be avoided. That's what I'm
Let me
saying. Be
let me
avoided then. That's fine. That's fine. We'll
let me
be
get to the
avoided.
point. You guys heard
Rap
of
was
Jim
created
Jones,
in the
right? You guys
1970s,
heard of
bro.
Jim
Rap
Jones,
was
right?
created in the 70s.
Listen,
Wait,
you guys heard of Jim
wait.
Jones, right? The rapper, right?
Jim Jones. I've never heard anything that Jim Jones.
Yes, ballin', we fly
Okay,
high.
okay,
Yeah, I know him.
okay. Jim Jones. Okay, cool. He is the number one reason why the East Coast is infested with gang activity because of him promoting his set from in the early 2000s. East Coast, East Coast.
So it wasn't no gangs before
Hold
Jim
on.
Jones was born.
Let me finish. Gang
You
culture
saying some
doesn't
wild
come.
shit, son.
Let me explain to you. Gang
Okay,
culture does not derive from the East Coast. That it derives from the Midwest. It derives from the West
You know there was
Coast.
gang
It,
banging when
it,
Tupac was born in New York, right?
what I'm trying to explain to you guys is that because of Jim Jones' influence, there's a high it grew the percentage of gang activity gang activity in the East Coast because of Jim.
Who put Jim Jones down? Because Jim Jones didn't create the set that he's with, so who put him down? See, that's why I say you saying a lot of shit that don't make sense. You trying to act
No,
like this
that's
nigga
makes
is
sense.
responsible for
So
gangs.
you
Gangs
ask
already
any
existed,
you
bruh.
ask anybody from New York right now who
yeah, but
made who made gangs popular in New York, they're gonna tell you it was Jim Jones and the
They had to
Dipset.
be
They're
popular
gonna tell you that.
but for
They're
Jim
gonna
Jones
tell
to
you that,
even
and
get
it's
in,
true.
for Jim Jones to have gotten in the gang, it had to already be available and popular. He wasn't the biggest nigga that joined that gang. It existed before him.
Yes, you're right. It did existed before him, but I'm telling you, his influence caused the growth of gang activities in the East Coast, man. This is what I'm telling
You
you.
keep talking about influence, right? So the reality is this: people can only be influenced to do the things that they have an interest in first. That's why it starts with N.
Right, right. Okay, okay.
Introspection. It
Let me
starts with
let me
fear.
explain. Let me explain this. Yes, there was bloods. There was, certain amount of Crips and Vice Lords and Latin Kings towards the East Coast. Yeah, but it wasn't a
Blackstones.
popular thing. It was not a popular thing. Now that Jim Jones and the Dipset um, promoted their set in the music industry, you will see a great significance of gang activity growth in the East Coast because of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
Yeah, it
that's
was
the
already
thing.
there, but if you have somebody like influencing you and put you in that lane to make that bad decision, yo, that's an issue. We
If
can't
you're
ignore
alive,
that.
no, if you're alive, you're in the lane to make a bad decision. Life.
Did Nipsey Hussle popularize? Did Snoop Dogg popularize being a Crip, or was it already popular and that's why he joined?
He had to make it popular because
Yeah,
according
yeah.
to
Well,
Rush,
hold on. No, that's not what I'm saying. You're twisting
okay,
it. That's not what I'm saying.
okay, well, make it clear to
First
me
of
because I'm
all,
curious.
gang culture does not. Maybe you're not gonna understand because y'all not from the East Coast. You know what I mean? But gang culture is not our culture in the East Coast. I'm gonna say this again. It's not our culture. It stems from the West Side and Midwest. That's where
So,
that culture stems from. You know what I mean?
so
So
even if
no
that was
Snoop
a
Dogg did
partial
not make it
truth,
popular because it was already there. That's where the birth of gang activity stems from. Is from where he's from. That's all I'm saying.
actually, it doesn't though. Do you know? Do you know about? Before I go there, let me because I'm gonna go and I'm gonna talk about the music history on the East Coast in an abundance. So before I go there, let me go back to this point before I forget it. So let me go back to this point because I'm gonna forget to go back here. Hold on, Rush. I'm gonna let you back in a sec. Let me find this comment. Okay. Where is the who made the comment earlier about the guns? Okay, I found it. So K DeJour made the comment and said, "You mean if they give us a bunch of guns, does that mean you have to use them, right?" So when we say they, I want to confirm if you're still on here. Are you speaking to the government? Because this is one that I feel is the root of much of this. And I know that official urban therapist is talking about psychologically forcing concepts on people. And the way that we do, let me expand on that part. The way that we do research when it comes to the control group and research, it's still your choices are still 100% yours. And that's the purpose of doing that type of research. You know why? Because we need to understand ill conceived human behavior. And that happens to be the bulk of the black culture. Now, not to say that it doesn't affect other people and other cultures of people, but other people, when they engage in wars, it's typically wars around ideals, religion, and things that help to shape their culture. When you ask about Black American culture and why we engage in wars in these streets, because every day is a war in these streets, because these kids die more than we die in combat in Iraq and Iran, in Afghanistan. Okay. And in Afghanistan, I gotta be honest, we lose a lot of people there. And some of that stuff it doesn't go on record and you guys don't see it. But the amount of black people killing black people in America while we are over there fighting a real war, that amount, that number is way above the amount of soldiers dying. And that's it's always beyond me because I ask myself, I'm like, so what are we over here fighting for? Black people are American people. Like hell, we're over here losing our life, risking our lives for people that don't even give a damn about themselves, because you're still American people. So why not just let the fucking Afghanis come over here and line y'all up, give you a couple of guns, extra ammo to go out there and do what you're going to do to yourself anyway? To me, that makes more sense. I feel like our community, we have such a lack of accountability when it comes to these particular issues. And these guns that are on the street, none of these guns are registered. All of these guns are stolen. All of these guns are smuggled. All of these guns are unaccounted for. And who puts it in the hands of Black people? You.
The government. You know, the answer is the government. The government walked up to them. They said, here, you take this gun, little nigger, and you learn how to shoot other niggas with it. That's how it
had to. And so when we talk about celebrity culture, celebrity culture is meant to allow us to see a more expansive view of the behaviors that we have shaped as people. That's why so many celebrities, and they're not creating a narrative, they're only giving insight to the narrative that already exists in our community that we don't take light of, we don't see, we don't accept. So when you talk about people like Kevin Samuels and him being out there, he's out there because these are realities for some of us in our culture. So when I talk about him, it's not that he's not correct about some of our culture. He's only correct about a very small margin, but he makes those small margin of our culture representative of all of us. And that's a negative connotation. As many successful Black doctors, many successful Black lawyers, many successful Black people in general that have come about, we've held highest office of the United States at this point. And I feel like in our minds, all we can see is that somebody else is responsible for us not reaching our goals, because we want to set our goals and our standards so fucking low. Like, that is what is crazy to me.
I call it hidden colors anxiety. That's the new thing that I made up. Niggas are having that hidden colors anxiety. They remember watching that movie and it's like, it's the white man's fault.
So wait, there is, Mr. Brooks mentioned the thing with child support and the benefit of money and how that contributes to the perpetuation of the cycle of women becoming single mothers and things like that in the Black community.
I agree. The reason why I agree with that is because they're getting positive feedback on their negative behavior.
So wait, let me add this one, because you made a point about Planned Parenthood. So if there is a Planned Parenthood on every corner, and Planned Parenthood is also equally incentivized, how is that a possibility?
What do you mean?
Don DeMarco.
When women go in to get abortions,
yeah, listen, man, just because we don't agree,
many of these women don't. No, many of these women, when they go in to get abortions, many of these women don't have health care insurance, and they get some world-renowned health care insurance coverage for the next 6 months.
Russ, you know damn well I ain't biased. I always go with niggas with this the white man is against us mentality. That's never gonna change about me.
It's bullshit though. That's the thing. When do we stop moving into a place?
Go ahead, guys.
When do we stop moving into a place of making excuses and move into a place of accountability and do better because we know better? When do
Russ,
we?
This is what I don't understand, Russ. You're looking at 3 people on the panel, you being one of them, that wasn't affected by this shit, yet you keep saying it's a mass plot to get us. How the fuck did we escape?
We got lucky.
So all the others, so everybody that's gotten away, that hadn't gotten caught up, is lucky. All the millions of people that have come and gone before us, they're lucky.
Well, I mean, you got to factor in that we have family. You know what I'm saying? There's things that factor in that helps us to be on the level that we're on now. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody has those tools in order to become successful in life, especially when you're dealing with melanated people in the United States.
I didn't have those tools, but I found a way.
Even though it is out of all the countries I've been to, yo, this is the illest place for Black people to get a come up.
I don't understand. I don't understand how you can maintain that mindset. I really don't. But let me go to my previous, what I was going to save this for. Funk Master Flex. Does anybody remember Funk Master Flex?
Oh yeah, for Master Flex, yeah. He's still relevant to
So,
this day.
okay. So what year and where was that?
He's been like, he's old. He's like your age. No disrespect, but he's been around.
If I could reach through this screen, what you won't do is call me old, okay? I'm like Kevin Samuels, don't talk
Come
over
on,
me.
man.
You're not gonna
It's
call
okay.
me
It's
old,
okay to be
sir.
old.
Get your shit together.
You're mature. You're mature.
No.
All right,
So
is that better? Both y'all
no,
mature people.
no, I'm well seasoned. Damn it. That's it. But but no, to get to the point, where did Funk Master Flex have the greatest influence?
Well, obviously New York. He's from New York City. He's really
So
popular in the
wait,
limelight over there.
but you're right. So that is not on the East Coast, is it? It can't be.
But
It
New
can't be.
York is not considered the East Coast.
You just said that gang activity was not the East Coast ideas of goals in life. That wasn't an East Coast thing. What you don't know
That's not a
about
part of
Funk
our
Master Flex,
gang culture. Is not a part of our culture in the East
it
Coast.
actually
Yeah.
is. It actually is. It actually is.
Not to
That
the
was a gang.
hold on. Not to the extent as the people from the yes, we okay. Yes, there was some type of gang activities. You know what I mean? But
Of course,
it wasn't to the extent as the people from the West Coast. Like people
it
from
was.
Cali, you
You're
got
looking
hold
at
on. You
the
got
evolution of gangs.
what you mean?
The
What
evolution
you
of gangs is what changed things. There were gangs when we came in before we went into integration. They just didn't look like the gangs today. So they worsened over the course of time because what was acceptable socially in the Black community changed over time. So initially, gangs were a substitute for parents that were unable to be emotionally available for their kids. So
but
not
not the type of gang activity we see that's still from the West Coast.
But that's what I'm telling you. It's
That's what
still the same. It's
that's
around the same
listen,
mentality.
those guys from the West Coast, they're that's a whole different breed of gang activities. It's not the same. Like they're the
Yeah, it's not
originators
the
of it.
same
Like
anymore because
you
it
have
has
children,
evolved.
you have children from blood sets that's born into blood sets, grandparents that's into that. Like this is
That's
how serious
evolution.
they set seriously. That does not come from the East Coast. That comes from the West Coast and the Midwest.
That's evolution.
But if y'all have adopted the West Coast culture on the East Coast, why does it matter where it started?
It's evolution. Even on the West Coast, it's
It
evolution. That's what I'm telling you.
it
Gangs are
matters.
everywhere. They've all
It
evolved.
matters. It matters because one is authentic and the other is just a carbon copy.
Oh my God. He said a whole lot when he said that the government isn't pulling the trigger. It's our own people. So how many people can be honest about that point? That's a hard truth.
It is true.
That's a hard truth. When we
We're the
talk
only
about these
honestly
drugs,
we're the only race of people in this world in this earth that hate each other to that extent where we have to kill each other. We're the only race that do that.
well, people typically will kill each other, if they think it's okay for them to do it,
Yeah,
if they
but
think that they can get away
I don't know
with
if you
it.
ever heard the saying, but this is such a messed up saying, but I'm going to say it. Don't nobody hate a nigga more than a nigga. You know what I mean? And it's a fact.
And it has nothing to do with what the Planned Parenthood, black white men dropping guns off, and none of the other shit we've been espousing up here. It has nothing to do with that. Niggas that's just innate in us.
Yeah, so we have to ask ourselves, why is it that we refuse to take accountability? So everything has evolved. And that's a problem for me because the directionality that it's evolving in is what's dangerous for the Black community. And that's what's leading to the genocide of us. We want to talk about the police killing us, but we're not talking about us killing us. in insurmountable numbers and different ways. We found different ways. We've eliminated our legacy before our legacy ever got a chance to start. Like women going to these abortion clinics, those are conscientious Black people decisions. Those are us, our decisions. It's nobody else's decision but us. When we are killing ourselves using substances and deciding that, okay, because it's legal, because it was prescribed for somebody and I have access to it, I'm going to go ahead and engage. I'm going to indulge in this. You know, I'm just going to entertain myself for a night because it feels good. It's going to get me to where I'm trying to get to. It's going to take my pain away. I'm not going to navigate more viable means of me alleviating myself of this pain. I'm going to just do this because it numbs for about fucking 5 minutes or something. And you know what? After that, I'm going to take some more. And then after that, I'm going to take some more. You know why? Because I don't do the research on the things that will harm my vital organs, my vitality, my life, the things that were in my life. But I will definitely do the research on things that look like other people are causing my life to have a short end of the stick, or causing my health to decline. Not kill me. Okay, not kill me, but causing my health overall to decline. So I'll talk about the food products having blah, blah, blah in it. I'll talk about the FDA approving drugs that could cause liver damage and kidney damage over a course of time. But I'm not going to talk about how I'm taking those drugs and I wasn't prescribed those drugs and I'm taking them otherwise than they were prescribed for somebody else even. I'm not going to talk about those things because that means I have to not only be accountable for having this knowledge or having access to these drugs, but I also have to kind of be responsible for fucking killing myself. That is the problem with us. That is the problem with us. We have a problem with introspect work because the deeper we look inside and we see the inadequacies in us, the further we run away from our truth. Because we try to find little snippets that can mask, that can unearth insecurities in other people as they're associated with us. So they look responsible for what we are responsible for because we've recognized that we are responsible for those things, even when we were just looking for accountability. Because it's so big. It's so in our face. We can't avoid it. But we don't even want to sit with it even when we see it in our face. DMX dies and we said, well, you know what? He was a junkie all his life. He kind of struggled with it, but he made some good music, so fuck it. He was ready to die anyway. He had made his peace.
The same thing we do we do the same thing with white musicians.
Yeah, but that's the thing. White people, even though they're killing themselves the same or similar ways, they're not doing it in the numbers that we are doing it. So it says something about the amount that we value us. We value our culture because at the end of the day, guess what? Let me tell you something about white American people. White American people have accepted the fact that they're evolutions of another race of people in a whole different country. They've accepted that. They have accepted that they can be whatever it is that other people are. So if Brazilian people are white skinned, they can be a white person and be Brazilian. And they can make babies with that Brazilian person and continue their lineage because they don't have a problem with cultural identity. We do. We do. So the more that they kill themselves via substance abuse and suicide, whatever those numbers are, it will never kill their lineage because they have identified with a color being indicative of what their race is. We have a problem with even that. Black people still argue about what a true black person is. Black people want to take your black card just because you have another race.
Yep.
Black people are trying to make another set of division and characteristics to classify what it means to be black because they can't accept being black, having a black ancestors is not enough. And the reality is many of them aren't even black. Many of them are Asian and fucking Native American. That's the reality.
Because I never hear white people make fun of each other for having paler skin than the next.
Exactly. It's a us issue.
So you pale skin. Never heard it.
Yeah. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen in other cultures or people. It's us. There is a issue with us seeing us for who we are. And as a result of seeing those things, stepping into a place of accountability and doing something different. That is all that I urge people to do. I urge people to do something different. Be the change that is a part of us stepping into a higher level of functioning in society. That's it. Is that so damn hard? Where your mom at? Your daddies, your granddaddies at? Like, that's what I don't understand.
Well, they've gotten younger over the past 40, 50 years. They've gotten younger, so they don't know as much as our grandparents did back in the day. They haven't been through as much shit as our grandparents went through.
To be honest with you, your great grandparents were actually younger parents and younger grandparents. We come from people who normalized getting married at ages 11 for women, 18 for men.
But they still went through shit, so that meant at the young age of 11, they were used to being a wife and a husband, doing family stuff, doing stuff. They have different values. They have different work ethic.
But that's what I'm saying. They had somebody to account for and to hand them down their legacy lines. And they had somebody to take them to church so they could believe in something greater than them and therefore have faith and hope that something lies ahead other than what they can see in front of them. And that is what positions people to do better than their current situation, to be better than their current situation. Hope does that. We have lost hope as Black people because we get caught up with what's in front of us.
I was with you till you said the church. I think the church is one of the biggest downfalls that we had as Black people.
It wasn't. If you look at the functionality of Black people when Black people had faith in religion, and we look at the functionality of Black people now who are far evolved from faith and religion, it's not about what religion you decide to ascribe to. It's about ascribing to something bigger than you. So when you don't subscribe to anything, you become nothing. Because you have that is greater than you as a human being to hold on to faith that something could be in the future that's not right now.
This feels like deja vu, like I've had this conversation with you before. But me, in my personal case, I went through the church, I went to private Catholic school, all of that shit. And the only reason I didn't do a lot of bad shit is out of fear of going to hell. It's not healthy.
That's what I'm saying, though. You didn't do it. That's the thing that's different. That's the difference between you and the many Black American men that are currently locked up because they have sold drugs, embraced gang culture, and continue that to perpetuate the cycle, or ended up on the other side of a bullet.
But I'm not a proponent of scaring people to act right. They have to act right because the goodness in them wants them to act right.
But goodness is only given if we can give a person a negative outcome. If we cannot give them a possible negative outcome, they will never step into a place of fulfillment when it comes to positive outcomes. That's why I say life is about balance. We need the balance. We can't have all positive energy. Everybody's elevating themselves and nobody's failing, because that's the only comparison that will allow us to be great and to step into places of achievement in life. That's it. That's it. Like, if we don't see our friends failing, then how can we truly excel?
We have to fail.
If we don't see our friends failing and we fail ourselves, we still won't truly excel. Because the bar is too low.
I can see that.
So we need to see in comparison that people that are coming up next to us don't have opportunities. If it's just us, if we're the only proponent that are either failing and making successes and everybody else in the world is rising above, that's where we get the mindset that racism exists. That's what we get, the mindset that the system is against us, because it starts to look like the odds are against us because everybody else is moving forward and we're not. We have to be able to have comparative analyses where we're people who are elevating our game, and then other people are failing, and a couple of other folks are elevating. So it's a couple of folks up here at the top, and we're doing something that's similar to one another that make us different than our counterparts that are not necessarily accelerating to the level that we are. So you said actually other cultures and ethnic groups don't see biracial people as exactly like them. So black people who define black people as two black people are simply dealing with reality and common sense. That's not true because I'm Finnish American, and guess what? In Finland, I'm just Finnish. I was never a black Finnish girl, and this is where I was raised.
But there are black Finnish people though. So that's why there are black Finnish people,
Right.
there are white Finnish people.
Right, but that's the thing. We don't do color. We just don't. We don't see that as a component. When it came to being a mixed person, I'm Finnish American because my Finnish citizenship is primary. American citizenship is secondary. So it doesn't matter if we see the culture because we only look at the culture of people. And even if we're looking at the culture of a person, we're still including you in this culture because this is now your culture. Just like in America, you're required to learn about the culture that you are immersed in. And so the thing is, if this is what you've decided to want for yourself and for your children, for your legacy, for your line, that they have to know the history of that said culture. American people, whether they are black or white, have a problem with their history. You guys are removing artifacts, historical monuments and statues and shit like that. And people think that that's okay. Like it's beyond me. It's that if anything else, the statues from the Civil War indicate how great people who are descendants of slaves are. It indicates triumph. And what black people see that as a constant reminder of negative energy and that you are inferior to someone else because somebody lied to you and got in your head enough to make you really think that. That is beyond me. How do you think your ancestors that fought so hard, that held out hope, that had so much faith for where you are now, how do you think they would feel? Like, I think when we think about religion, religion makes you so seated in culture that when you decide to make a move in life, you reflect on how your ancestors will think about it. Because what religion does is tell you that there is something on the other side. And so it tells you that somebody else is going to watch over what your actions are in this life. It tells you that you're accountable to somebody greater than you. So when I say religion and when I say spirituality is a huge component to people cultivating positive behaviors, it is. That's the single thing that is different in the Black community. Find me one other thing. Remove religion out of the school, and that is what happened. If you guys go back and you do some history taking and do some research, that's what you will see. That is the only thing that changed. As a result, society changed as a whole. The Black community went further down the hole, but society changed as a whole. We started seeing school shootings for the very first time.
I think my kids are well-adjusted atheists, all four of them.
Keep thinking that.
I mean, I went through the God thing, so I refuse to put fear in my kids of something that's just it's. And then also religion gives you a crutch because if you don't do good, you can always just say, well, I'll get my paradise in heaven. I can just keep being a sack of shit and I'll get my paradise when I die.
That's not how that
It
works.
makes you lazy. It does that, but that's how a lot of people use religion. They use anything good that happens is God. Anything bad that happens in their life is the devil. It ain't nothing that they did. They could have did some fucked up shit and say the devil put me in jail.
So on the contrary, it still makes you accountable to a higher power. Because God conditions people to believe that they have freedom of choice. And if they make their choices and those choices are not in line with their spiritual resonance, guess what? The negative yieldings will come. And that's when the devil will come in. So that mindset in and of itself keeps people on the straightaway. Now, when they don't have that fully, they do make comments like these right here, you know.
Well, we don't have that. I don't have that. That higher power stuff hanging over me and my kids, and we seem to be well adjusted. We ain't out here making no fucked up decisions just because, not because of God, it's because we know it's wrong and there are consequences on earth to the fucked up shit that we do. We ain't gotta wait till we die. If you do some dumb shit on earth, you're going to jail or you might get killed.
That's still the law of man. That's still scribed in the Bible. But people who don't have that, that's what I'm telling you. So people who don't have a father and a mother to condition them as to what outcomes look like, and they don't either have a religious context that can condition them, will naturally gravitate to whatever the environment has to teach them. So the problem is, it's not just not having religion, it's not having religion to be something that binds people to a greater purpose in life when they don't have parental authority to do that. It's about giving people the propensity to grow into situations, to be something better, to adopt faith and hope principles that position them into different situations that allow them to do something else, to rise above their obstacles. They can't do that if they haven't been told that they can be whatever they want. They can't do that if they haven't been told the sky is the limit. They can only do what society, environment, and culture, and all of those components together condition them to do. If that's nothing, they will be nothing. And that is what we're seeing. So you're seeing kids that don't have anything.
I agree.
Anything.
That was a mic drop moment.
I'm just saying. Like,
I agree. I said I agree. Mic drop moment. I can't argue with you.
So
they had mention of God in public schools, though.
Yeah, and we did have religion in public schools here in America. So religion has never been something that was outside. Prayer is a part of religion, just in case you didn't notice. Your Constitution here in America, what is that? Does anybody know that your founding fathers
were religious? The money is religious.
In religion.
Separation of church and state is fairly new.
That is where we started to see the decline of people in human behavior, because once you separate those components, society starts to have less accountability to a higher power in general. So maybe you haven't done your due diligence when it comes to history taking. You need to get yourself off of Google and go in somebody's library. That's all I'm saying. Everything is not going to be on Google. Not everything.
Hell, and they still do the Pledge of Allegiance in schools now, and they have the mention of God in it.
Slick.
Well, not slick. They just know people aren't going to complain about it. Nobody's going to say, hey, if church and state are separate, why the fuck are we saying the Pledge of Allegiance that has God in there? We got students from all other religious denominations in here, and we're making them acknowledge God.
But that's the thing. They're moving to take that out. Even they don't want kids to pledge to anything, and that's what I'm trying to explain to people. People don't understand that, but
I'm not against it though.
When we don't have any type of higher power at all, when we don't have any type of ethics that grounds us,
that should be taught at home though. That should be a at home thing, not a public thing that everybody has to follow or do.
It takes a village.
Because then yes, but we know in these public schools we have all type of racial backgrounds and religious ethnicity. So it's fucked up to make Muslim kids and Buddhist kids say the Pledge of Allegiance when it mentions God, and they're not religious to that God.
But they are citizens, right?
Yes, they are, but they have a different religious belief. That's why I'm saying it shouldn't be in schools, because everybody don't believe in the same God, and you're making those people feel uncomfortable acknowledging a God that they've never even known or acknowledged in their life.
It doesn't tell them about the Holy Trinity. It doesn't tell them God Almighty. It says God in general. So every version of whatever religion people subscribe to, they all mention God, and it's all
But their gods have a
God.
specific name. Their
Yeah,
gods have a specific name, though.
it's not necessarily having Allah is not a specific name that's different than God. Allah means God Almighty as well.
It's still not the word God. It could be translated different, but it's a proper name.
But they could ascribe to their they could substitute that one word for that, but at least they're pledging to something. They're making some level of commitment that keeps them grounded. That's the point. And the reality is, children are not taught to pledge to anything. Children are not taught to subscribe to anything, any belief systems whatsoever, because parents aren't parenting anymore. Neither are grandparents. So you said decisions are analogous to outcomes, nothing to do with belief systems. Plenty of believers make bad decisions and choices and end in prison. So what do you think
Yep.
guilt? What do you think guilt has to do in that? Do with that? If
People don't feel guilt a lot of times.
no, wait for it. If belief systems don't have anything to do with it, hey, Desert Woman, how are you? Oh, the K du jour. The curse words come out every once in a while.
Jeez.
Context,
How old are you?
language, and meaning. So if you attribute, so I think about it's all about context.
I don't like being told how to talk.
Right.
Nobody tells the pastor how to deliver their message. Nobody tells the teacher how to deliver their message. Nobody tells, like, what the hell?
But that's the thing. I think it's an element. It's an elemental thing. And right, Kimbo. So I want the Al Show to answer this question about people having guilt or shame. Because everything in your life, everything that you do is based on belief systems, even though you may not think about it. When we think about the psychology of human behavior, when we explain what it means for a person to be human, everything that you do is based on belief system. Everything. Now, some people's
What belief?
systems evolve over time because they have exposure to further belief systems, but that's not to say that belief systems don't have a very important role to play in the grand scheme of things as people are developing and shaping their personalities. So if we look at it from even a scientific level, your belief system has always contributed to the decisions that you make. When you go into society, and this is my favorite one, and you're 18 years old, and for the first time you're going to buy a car, you have to believe that that's a possibility for you. No,
No, you have to know. You have to know that you have the means to get that car. I will say he has a point on his comment because there are a lot of people that are religious as hell, like pastors, and they still commit crimes.
yeah, but that still has nothing to do with how you feel afterwards. But let's go
But,
ahead.
but it has nothing to do with God, though. It has nothing to do with you worrying about God punishing you because you believe in God. You the pastor, and you still doing illegal shit.
That's still not about God. Everybody belief system isn't God. So if you know that you have the means to buy this car, what belief system does that come from? Knowledge is about belief. Knowledge in and of itself is about belief. We can't know a thing unless we believe a thing. Anybody can give us truth. When people go and they follow Kevin Samuels, you know why they follow him?
But beliefs and knowing are different. You can't prove belief. You just believe it. That doesn't mean it's true because you believe it.
You do.
Just like these people on here have been believing that the white people cause all of this shit, but that doesn't make it true. It's a belief.
But that's what I'm telling you. So their belief system does what? It contributes to how they operate. It contributes to how they pursue truth. It contributes as to what they do and don't do. If you believe that the white person is after you or the white person is holding you down, and therefore you don't go and apply for that job because you notice that that's a building where mostly white people work, and you're a black person, your belief system is that the world was not set up for you to achieve outcomes in that particular type of setting. That's your belief system.
Well, see, that's what Al is saying. These people that believe in God, that's their belief system, but they still go out and do stupid shit to get them arrested or whatever.
So people
So
who
their
have
belief system doesn't come into place. They say fuck their beliefs and they do what they want to do.
it does.
How can you, if your belief system is so strong and you fear God, you would not be out here breaking God's rules.
Right, Kimbo, that's what I'm getting to. So if your belief system is as a Christian, you believe in God, or even as a Catholic, you believe in God, right? Or let's just say you're a Muslim and you believe in Allah, right? Let's just say any of these are your belief system. In every single sector of every single one of those said belief systems that I just named is free will. And also outcomes. The outcomes are very clear. They're ascribed very clear. So if your belief system is that if you do a bad thing, right, whatever is perceived to be outside of the laws and regards of your belief system, there are outcomes to that particular thing. Now, some people who are old school Christians and they're first Old Testament Bible thumpers, they don't believe that after you've done a thing that goes against the scribes of God or the 10 commandments that you can be redeemed. They would have to believe in the New Testament. Their belief system may not be one that believes in the New Testament. Those people believe that they are condemned to hell forever, period. Period.
And that I was going to add to was if you believe that people like that, they prove that there's an illusion of free will because it's simply do as I say or you going to hell. There's no free will in there. It's do as I say or else.
That's just Old Testament. If you believe in the New Testament, you believe that if you end up doing these crimes, whatever they are, if those are also equally crimes committed against God and man, that means that you can repent. And if your heart is repentant, if your heart has remorse in it, if your heart has regret in it, and you repent and you give your life over to God, whatever that is, right? You stand in a place of renewed energy. And as a result, you can go through life and now make good decisions and good choices, and you will be welcome into the judgment realm where you're going to be judged for the things that you did while on earth, and that scale is balanced and weighed out, and whatever the outcomes are, you're willing to accept those outcomes based off of what your life yielded. So
I find that horrific. I find that horrific though. So Dr. Jefferson, what you telling me is I could rape you tomorrow, and as soon as I get done raping you, I start having a heart attack. I can ask God for forgiveness. I will be forgiven, and you get to see me in heaven.
It just depends.
That's terrible.
It depends, of course, on how you felt after raping me. So if
if I repented, I said if I repent, mm-hmm. I get to go to heaven, and then you get to go to heaven and see me, the guy that raped you.
Yeah, but when you go to heaven, that's a different life. It's a spiritual life, right? So that means that
we don't know. We can't prove that.
I'm only going from what's in these different books, okay? These books, all books align. All of these religious books align. Say, because I'm
still gonna be your rapist though.
Pretty in depth. It was a part
me
of
too. So I'm still gonna be your rapist though.
But not really, because the spirit realm has nothing to do with the life you lived on earth. Once you're accepted into heaven, you're accepted into heaven, and all of that stuff is forgotten. Everybody's brother and sisters, no parents, none of those subsystems exist there. So we're all on accord. Your only spiritual energy, those energies that from your life lived on earth has nothing to do with your spiritual resonance. And
question, Dr. Jefferson, since we're going down this rabbit hole, do you believe that God is a spirit?
Essentially, God would have to be a spirit if God is all things.
Okay, so answer me this. Why does God need a throne, a seat, which is for humans, an ass? You need for a seat. We know what a seat does. God has a seat. God has paving roads. I don't know why spirits need to walk on roads and golden gates. Why is this needed for spirits?
Well, you have to ask yourself, what does that mean?
It means God must be human if he got a seat.
Not necessarily.
He walking on paved roads.
No, so everything written in the Bible, everything written in the Quran, everything written in the Book of Mormon, all of these different religions, everything written is based off of interpretation. So we talk about roads every single day. We talk about walk every single day, but a spirit can't walk because a spirit doesn't have legs. We wouldn't know. But walking is about journey, living out a journey. So if eternal life means to step into a place of salvation. So finally, you're autonomized. You don't have to deal with human struggles of being alive on earth, right? You're not tied to that past life because that's one life. As you are working to evolve into this other state of being where you're free of the atrocities that go along with free will and all this crazy stuff where you're trying to earn your way into this everlasting eternity of paradise where you don't have to be tied to that. What you have to understand is that path, that road could be your journey. It's about symbolism. So you're reading a book that's based on symbolism. If you're reading the book as it's meant to be read, if you're taking the interpretations as they're meant to be interpreted from the experience of all of these people who have contributed to the development of these books because they've told their stories to be included in these books, then you can attribute the meaning that your spirit aligns you to attribute to it. If it pulls away from you, maybe that's not your natural belief system. Or maybe you have been shamed in that system from another person's belief system or the way they articulated it, and they sent you going a different direction. That happens all the time in religion. What do you mean?
I'm gonna have to go clean my ears out after all this religious propaganda you spewing.
I'm just talking. These are
I'm just joking.
Belief systems.
I'm just joking.
So,
I'm just joking.
I'm just saying though, these are just types of belief systems. My problem is this. Don't force Christianity / religious belief or values on others. Yes, there is a creator. So that's a belief system though. So expressing what your belief system are, whatever those systems are for you, doesn't mean that you're forcing on anybody else. It means that you're tethering yourself to some level of moral and ethical accountability. That's what that means. Belief systems are things that motivate us to do what we do as human beings, to step into the spaces that we step in. We can't step into a car dealership, right? We can't step into a car dealership and purchase a car if we don't believe we have the means to purchase that car. If we don't believe that we can purchase that car, it's like an American person going to a different country where you're visiting, obviously, right? And walking into someone else's home because you believe that Mikasa is Sukasa.
You know what's funny about Jermaine G's comment? He doesn't even, when he says there is a creator, he doesn't even realize he believes there's a creator.
That's what I'm saying. And that's his belief system. So it's not that I'm forcing anything on you. Everybody who is living, breathing, moving in this space on earth has some belief system. Because if you did
especially if you're into some type of spirituality.
Exactly. But it doesn't matter because you can't move through life without believing in something. It doesn't matter what you believe in. You believe in something. When you go out there and you commit crimes, you believe your ass ain't gonna get caught.
True. I believe in myself. You're absolutely right.
You believe that you're above the law if somebody slipping today. You believe that you're having a lucky day today. When you go out there and decide to rob that bank, you believe that you can get away with it. Whether that aligns with facts or not, based off of what the outcomes are, your belief system is what's going to shape the behavior. So without a religious or spiritually grounded belief system, Americans operate from a place of zero accountability because there is no accountability to be had. I don't know why that is so difficult, and to understand.
It's not difficult. I get what you're saying, but I understand what you're saying. Me being an atheist, I feel like I have accountability to myself, my family, and my society without having a all-powerful being above me. So I still feel like I have accountability, even though it's not grounded in religious beliefs.
Yeah, but that's
So
what
I
I'm
get
saying.
what you're saying, though.
Yeah, but it's not about religious belief. You're in a country that is built off of religion anyway. Your citizenship is based off of religion. Look at your
I
birth
know.
certificate, not just,
Oh, I
not
know.
just your constitution. Look at your birth certificate. Look at the dollars that you spend every single day. So it says, "In God we trust." So y'all spending them damn dollars like y'all definitely believe in religion.
One nation under God.
So
I get all of that. That's what I'm saying. I get all of that, but I get what you're saying. You're saying that I definitely get it, but I'm just using me personally, I guess, because I feel like I'm still accountable to society around me to make the best decisions for me and society, no matter what I believe in.
Kimbo J is too funny. You said that's not a belief
I
system
like the crowd today.
of to come from something. Something. What are you
Sir,
saying?
sir, it is a belief system. If you believe there's a creator, there's no way you can take belief from in front of it. Because you don't know if there's one. You only believe, just like with Dr. Jefferson and anyone else. They don't know if God exists. They believe it does. That's why it's a belief. You can't prove it.
So help me understand this, the Al show. This is interesting to me. You said no,
I
not
like
quite.
the Al show.
Me too. I just love it. Plenty of accountability. It comes from the law, social rejection, and cultural norms. So cultural
That's what I
norms,
just said, though.
there, those are belief systems, my guy.
But now he's talking about the accountability part as far as religion. That's why I was saying I understand what you're saying that the country has went to shit since I can agree that the country has gone to shit since they said we're going to separate church and state. Even though I don't believe in God, I can agree society was a lot more controlled when there was religion just all around. No matter which one it was better. I can agree with that, but
So human behavior has to be controlled. And so my problem with you, Al, let me explain something. There is a difference between accountability and responsibility. And I think that maybe you need to go back and watch further videos from my beginning where I explained to you guys the difference of the concepts. The
can
problem
you do it now?
is that,
Do it now for him. You may as well. You here.
so accountability means that you're only accounting for the presence of a thing, a belief, or idea, or event, okay, or yourself. You could be accountable for yourself or other people as well, right? So you can account for or recall. That's what it means. Recall that a thing happened, right? That's only accounts. That's what accounts are. So accountability is only us confirming that these are things, period. Calling a thing a thing. Responsibility means that you are responsible for these things happening. So you find fault in something that you did, another entity did, a couple of entities did that contributed to either the ripple effect or the direct impact of a particular thing that you've accounted for. So that's how they differ in the two. So the thing about that is when you talk about accountability comes from the law, it doesn't. That's them holding you responsible for a thing, not accountable for a thing. Because you still could be sitting in the space where you truly are saying that you're guilty. That's how people get convicted of murder, but they said they were innocent. Ask Derek Chauvin how he feels about that. Derek Chauvin never took responsibility for murdering George Floyd, by the way. He never took responsibility for murdering those other 6 people that he had murdered in the last 3 years.
Well, he was held accountable for him now.
He was held accountable for George Floyd. That's it. Those other families, because they were not brown families, because they were white families, never made it to court. Because it's not a thing that the police officers murder them in custody because of substance use too. That's the reality. So accountability coming from the law is not them forcing you to take accountability. It's them holding you accountable because they see this account as relevant and them holding you responsible as a result of what they see you accountable for, and your outcomes are results of that. And their belief system is that God says murdering people is against the law. Just gonna go ahead and say that. That's why when you make that pledge to tell the truth and nothing But the truth, they don't ask you to say, so help you your non-belief system. You ascribe to their belief systems that day. So either whether you want to admit it or not, sit with it or not, or understand it or not, people operate based on their belief system, period. So we have to be accountable. We have to learn how to be accountable for our behavior so we don't have to be responsible for reckless behavior in the future. That is what this is about. So we see substance use in the Black community happening, and we see that killing large numbers of us. If we see sex and reckless sexual practices and us going to abortion clinics taking away our legacy in insurmountable numbers every year, right? And we're accountable for that today. We don't have to be responsible for a lack of us being an issue or relevant tomorrow. That is the point. If we can take hold of the accountability component and we can say that we're killing us in ridiculous numbers and we have no regard for human life because we don't have a damn belief system. If we can say these things, we can position ourselves for better outcomes tomorrow. And as a result, we can take responsibility for reseating ourselves in our greatness today so that we can say that something is hopeful for tomorrow. Other than that, we can only look at the demise of our race of people, and we can say that we're attributing to and take responsibility for a lack of doing anything, and therefore contributing to the demise of our culture of people. So, I mean, do what you want to do. But we're here for accountability conversation. So I don't make excuses on this channel. If it hurts, go find something else to do.
Ooh, that was mean.
It is what it is. I mean, I think it's beyond me that this girl lost her mother yesterday. And people will say, oh, well, you know what? She made her choice. She made her choice. And these are people that have achieved several high levels of moving or positioning themselves in places to where they can be successful based off of their background.
Yes, Jermaine, something can come from nothing because according to your belief system, that's how the world was created.
This is true.
I can go apply for a job tomorrow with nothing and come back with the job, which is something. Yes, it's very possible.
So, Al, the law holds you accountable when they hold you in a court case, when they hold a trial for which you said that you were not guilty for. Okay, they hold you accountable then. They hold you responsible when they convict you of the crime.
Yeah, because you could get exonerated and you were held accountable, but you weren't responsible for the charges that they put against you, so they let you go.
Exactly. Hey, Black Anonymous, how are you?
Hello, Black Anonymous. I'm a fan.
Of course. I think those other families never made it to court because the murder of their family member wasn't recorded for the world to see. No, they saw it. So police officers, I know that people sometimes think, I said within the last year. So police officers have had body cams for a very long time, but even more way before then, their cars, their vehicles record all interaction once those blue lights come on. Right? And they go back a whole minute before. So how do you think I know that these things happen? At my level of clearance, I can get access to anything. Literally. So because these things happened and because these families accepted the story that was given to them versus going after the police station because they knew that their family member had a history of substance use and irresponsible behavior, it was easy for them to just go with the story they were given. Very, very similar to Ahmaud Arbery's mother and I talked about that. And she's a Black woman. When they first called Ahmaud Arbery's mother, if you guys go back to her initial interviews and my initial coverage of that on my Facebook, on my couple of my Facebook pages, you will see that Ahmaud Arbery makes it very clear that the first 2 days she sat with and believed that her son really had done these things. Do you want to know why? As parents of adult children, we realize the capacity of our children, regardless of other people realizing the capacity of our children or not. We know what our children have the capacity to do because we know we've seen their behaviors as they were shaping when we were molding and cultivating them. And Ahmaud Arbery's mother knew that. You understand? So
Yeah, she knew he was a criminal.
not that he was a criminal. She knew.
Ma'am, if you believe your son is guilty of some shit that it's never been done before, you know that's what he is. Because typically, if your child is not used to doing stuff like that, the first thing you would say is, not my child. You're going to give your child the benefit of the doubt, not say, yeah, that was that nigga.
She knew that he had an issue with certain things. I'm going to say that. Because
exactly, she knew he was a criminal.
I don't want to give any fuel for anybody else that is currently prosecuting these cases. She knew that her son had the propensity to, engage in certain types of behaviors, and sometimes
criminal activity
can be.
We're not gonna sugarcoat it, doctor. Criminal activity,
and sometimes those behaviors can be seen as criminal. Okay,
you sugarcoating.
So
you sugarcoating.
Well, I know, right? Black Anonymous, me too. And so I'm not giving them anything to use in prosecution because at the end of the day, it is what it is. So you need to prove, your position against this man that was an innocent bystander recording this thing. Because there's a lot of things that a lot of people.
Oh, I'm definitely mad about that guy being charged. Because had that guy not recorded that shit, y'all wouldn't even have the proof that y'all have, and y'all gonna charge him for recording.
So people got to ask the question. People got to do their research. Like I dug deep into this one. So it's a lot that I won't say because I want to make sure that this case get handled the right way, and I don't want any mistrials because you decided to see or hear or say or move in a different way. But Ahmaud's mom knew the propensity of her child. That's my point. So until she had compelling evidence from the man who recorded it, just so y'all know where it came from.
Who didn't have to turn it in.
And he said
prior to him,
he sent it
yeah, because prior to him doing that, the men were exonerated. They were like, "Oh, it's legal shoot."
Yeah. So he didn't have to do any of the things that he did, but he did this for a reason. So that's the difference between responsibility and accountability, Al.
He was the whistleblower.
He felt responsible for being there and not doing anything where he even feared for his own life. And that's what ended up having him there in the first place. That's the reality. Y'all don't know the backstory, but that's why he was even there in the first place. So the reality is this: when you feel responsible for something, whether or not you are or are not, your internal belief system is what will seat you before people, where you need to now render some level of accountability and take responsibility and render apologies or whatever it is that you can help the situation be different than what it is for you internally. So those are people that have moral compasses and a solid and sound sense of ethics because of their said belief system. Yeah, but the thing is, so it's not about. So I want you guys to understand this. Even if the world had not seen what happened to George Floyd, Derek Chauvin would have still been prosecuted, and he still would have gone to jail. Even if that girl never reported on her phone.
Well, he lied. He lied on the police report, so they don't know.
He lied on the police report on the body cams of all of the other officers around. There was a very clear picture, and on the corner cam, there was a clear picture as to, there not being any resistance from George Floyd. It's too many. There were too many angles. So every shooting death is investigated. I'm going to say that. So you guys have to understand how the system was already geared up, which is why it took so much time for them to render some level of change in the way that police operations involving police-involved shootings with Black people are handled. Because these are things that were already in play. And Black people are so ignorant, they won't go do the research. You can't improve policies if you don't know the existing policy. And I talked about that. My thing is, the policies are already in place. It's just sometimes the people don't advocate for comprehensive investigations after internal affairs have come up short. So if these people's families had gone after the police station, the county, and then the city, and then the state, if they had done all of these things that were done by the George Floyd's representation, they would have gotten similar outcomes because the evidence is there. It's just where the evidence is. So that's what I'll say about that. And it's sad, it's a sad truth, but I think that we elevate and we come up and we show up for those cases because we got somebody else that we can blame. Every time we can point fingers, Black people are there for that. When it's time to point fingers back at us, we run and we look for excuses, and we hope other people make excuses right with us. Let's see.
Heck, I don't know if they still make you put your hand on the Bible and swear to it, but yeah, that is. And then most of the times when you go in the court, you'll see some marking on the wall. Some courts still got the 10 Commandments up. Like, no, they slick still have all this shit in place. It's just not as overt as it used to be.
Exactly. I feel like it's very overt though. If you're in courts law, if you're in the courts enough, you know that this system and the laws are very much religious seated. All of the laws, all of the regulatory authority, all of these are very much religious seated. All of them are. So because you're outside and you're looking from the outside looking in, it's easy for you to say that. But the reality is, do a little bit more research into your laws and figure out why the laws that are there exist.
You know what just popped up in my head? The number of jurors and the number of disciples.
There you go.
Jeez, I just thought about that right then.
That's what I'm telling you. And people don't understand that. You don't understand the system that was created for you, which is your belief system. Because when you're an American citizen, believe it or not, stick with it or not, it's your belief system. Because you're a citizen. Otherwise, you would vacate citizenship and go somewhere else. Otherwise, you would break all the laws and get your ass locked up. And there go have your, citizens' rights evoked. So it is your citizenship and your belief system both together, because you're still free. Or maybe you just ain't got caught yet. So how could he not confess to an officer that he helped corner a person if in order for him to keep other people from getting away? And I don't know how many of you have actually been to the scene of the crime, but I'm right here in Georgia. It's South Georgia. Took us 2 hours and some change to get there when we did our research. Because when I tell you I'm 100% for what I do, and I go really hard for social justice.
When was he cornered though? From the video, like from the time the video started, that man that recorded the video didn't get close at all. So when the fuck did he corner Ahmaud Arbery?
He was never cornered, but he did he prevent the persons that were driving in their truck. He did prevent them. He blocked them from being able to get past the walkway. However, it's a lot of grass right there. So if Ahmaud wanted to run, he could have definitely ran. But
he could have ran left, right.
Yeah.
He ran straight towards the truck.
Yeah, he wasn't going to continue to run because he was pissed off, and he was going to go ahead and he felt like he could take them. But let me tell you,
whoop these white boys.
That's right. You don't take a knife to a gunfight. Period.
Oh
So
yeah, I don't recall seeing him cornered at all, and not especially by the guy that was recording. The guy that was recording didn't leave his truck.
exactly. So you say it's the enforcement of these laws that needs to be applied equally. Well, the thing is, they're enforced to the extent that they
More white people are in jail than black people, so they are enforced equally.
they're enforced to the extent that they can be. So it depends on what type of evidence is left behind. When you talk about internal affairs and the investigative practices that they have, and the morale that they create in the police environment when these investigations are going on, it gets very complex. And people don't give information the same way the black community doesn't render information when Poo Poo killed Ray Ray. Okay.
White people snitching.
Exactly. What do you think in Pennsylvania when this guy came out and he murdered his neighbors? You think the police just wandered into the neighbor's house across the street where he killed himself? They just wandered in there. They say, you know what? Let me just go over here. Let's just see. Let me just see. Let me just go into this neighbor's house and just see what happens. No, the neighbors.
Police are dicks. Yeah, police are dicks to everyone, not just us.
Yeah, and the thing is, they have a job to do. But if you don't give information, if you don't tell, if you don't offer up information in white neighborhoods, this stuff happening, they offer up everything they got. Yeah, I got some, ring cameras. You want to see my ring camera?
Neighborhood Washington already spotted you.
Yeah, come on in. I saw the whole thing. Got the whole thing caught on my camera too. You want to see the version from my camera? I got it too. But in the black community, when this shit happens, we could have Ring doorbell and every kind of camera, all of that stuff. But I can guarantee you a black person is not snitching on the black person. They're just not doing it. The boy could be in the bed.
And then in the chances that they do caught, we're gonna be screaming free him till we see him.
Exactly. And the reality is the things that I see when I'm in our community and I'm working with us and I'm trying to keep these boys from killing each other and that kind of stuff. What I see in these Atlanta streets where I know our crime is the highest, what I see in DeKalb County, in Fulton County, and I thought it'd be enough when the movie, Snow on the Bluff, is that it? Got
That's
out.
fake.
I thought that would be enough. It really isn't though. It really isn't though. During that time, I was very much in that community. And when that young lady lost her life, my heart broke for us.
Now the community exists, the Bluff community exists, but that movie was fake. Like, how is this? You do realize this nigga documented all his crimes and never went to jail.
Yes, I do.
That's why I know it's fake.
It's not fake.
How do you record all of your crimes and sell it worldwide and it not be staged? This nigga ain't been charged with. He literally showed himself shooting up these folk house.
Yeah.
He showed himself robbing drug dealers. He showed himself buying drugs. He literally snitched on himself, was never charged. You mean to tell me this wasn't just entertainment?
Each one of these crimes is documented. If you check the death records, his child's mother, she definitely died, and that's how she died. All of these things are facts. And that's what I'm telling you. If you got people, the same government that you claim is so against black people is working with you to give you the facts and the realities of what's happening in your community. And they're willing to make agreements and things like that with people for them to show this stuff. And we still won't accept it. That's interesting to me. That never dawned on me. Like, people are going to see this and they're going to believe that this is a lie. Fuck no. How? A simple research. Simple research would have given you confirmation that these things happen. Looking at reports of drug and gang activity, shootings, 911 calls, what the community street was, you could have done that. I would have thought that would have happened before people would have not believed it. That's interesting to me. But that's sad. That's sad. This is the reality that we live in, people. Like, this is the reality that we live in. These young people are killing each other because they have no sense of self. That they feel like because another person is jealous of them, because another person has better shoes on than them, because another person is doing this, and it's disrespectful. The way that person talks to them or doesn't deal with them or doesn't accept them, they feel vindicated after they kill each other. And they know that the system of Black people will support them because they're not going to tell. This is us. This is our reality, and we need to just do better. Like,
this is what I just got on. Snow on the Bluff is a 2012 American found footage style drama film directed by Damon Russell. It stars Curtis Snow, a real life Atlanta robbery boy and drug dealing, playing a fictional version of himself as he gets into various dangerous criminal situations. That's why I said this shit can't be real. He recorded his crimes.
So if you look at how it's recorded, right? Look at the part that is not the poor.
Well, it said he's playing a fictional character of himself, a fictional version of himself. Yeah. So that means it's fake.
Okay, so let me just level with you just for a second. If I made a recording of a drug deal, right? And I'm a DEA agent, and I go in and I made this recording, but everybody else around me were involved in this drug deal. And then I put that out and I called that a fictional account so that I could protect not only my undercover identity, but also so I could protect my sense of self. Because you know what happens when Black people have gotten off from crimes? What do you think? What do you call it? You call them a snitch. You don't deal with them anymore. You can't deal criminally with that person anymore because obviously they have to be an informant, right? So how would the government, you guys have so many theories, how would the government cover that up?
I didn't say it covered up. I said it's fake. So there's nothing to cover up because it was fake.
Covered up, you would call it fake, but you would still produce it.
So you're saying he's an informant?
I'm not saying anything. What I'm saying is you can tell what's reality and what's not. And I think that people have seen enough movies to know what's real.
I've been in the streets enough to know niggas is not that dumb to record their crimes like that, especially shooting up a nigga's house.
Okay. Snow on the Bluff.
And you said so why didn't the director turn that over? And then he said it was a director. He didn't even direct the shit. It's claimed it's home movies, but it was directed by somebody else.
That's what I'm
Shit's
telling
fake.
you. So you gotta understand, if it is directed by somebody else, find me that director. Pull that director up. What other movies have they directed?
Hold on, let me find this guy's name again.
Yeah.
This director, what is his name? Damon Russell. Let me look him up.
We're talking about Snow.
Web search. Damon Russell is a producer and director of television series and film. He was inducted Motion Pictures, Arts and Scientists. Mm-hmm. Filmography, let's see. In 2005, he did something on MTV. 2007, Flipped His House. 2007 through 9, The First 48. 2011, Snow on the Bluff. 2012, Oscar-winning short film Curfew. 2014, Before I Disappear. He put in work.
No. Why do you think it's just before this film that you start seeing a history? I'm going to teach you guys how to do your history taking when you see that your government is actually, or if you suspect your government is covering things up. I'm just teaching basic research methods.
It was a 6-year difference. He produced in 2005, 2007, 2007 to 2009, and then he took a hiatus for a year or two, and then he came back with Snow on the Bluff.
So how is it possible that he would have taken this hiatus? And how is it possible that if this person is responsible,
he was tired from working?
How?
He took a vacation. I'm saying he was working on several shows from 2005 to 2009, and maybe he was looking for a new job at the end of 2009, or he took a vacation.
Do you really believe that?
I'm just saying, you saying, why would he stop? People like you, sometimes you don't always have acting work or producing work. Sometimes you got to go find a new job.
Okay, if you believe that, if that sit with you, if you really believe that, then I'm not here to convince you.
Now you just asked, why would he? I gave a reason why he would be gone for a year.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's not. I don't know if it's right or not, but that's a reason that he could have been gone for a year.
It doesn't make sense. Any person that is in film or production or directing, if you look at Tyler Perry and his come up, that's a real person that you could look at his come up. Ask yourself how many breaks you saw him take.
But that's because he was running his own empire. Tyler Perry wasn't working at MTV and all these places. This other guy was working for other people. Tyler Perry was building his own brand. So, of course, he going to work nonstop.
Tyler Perry comes from very
He's taking a break lately because he ain't been producing shit.
He's made his money already. He's reached his
goal. That's what this guy could have done for 6 years. He could have made his money and said, you know what, I'm going to chill for a minute.
Okay, so good. So now go look up his net worth and look up Tyler Perry's.
Well, again, they're totally different because Tyler Perry owns his shit. He owns every show he's put out. He owns all his plays. He owns all because he chose to be independent.
Tyler Perry didn't come from independent.
But he chose to be independent. However he got his start, he said, you know what? I want to be independent.
He didn't choose to be independent. The industry forced him to be. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying real life facts. People who come from the type of beginnings that you're talking about, this person would have come from. I'm only helping you draw the congruence. People who come from the background of the type of background that has been painted for this person look a certain way.
How was Tyler Perry forced to be independent? Because he took his play to a mainstream person and they said no? Well, that's how a lot of people get started independently then. They try to sell their movie to the big networks. They say no. They say, you know what, I'm a producer independently.
Yeah. That's
typically how it goes. So that's not anything special to Tyler Perry, if that is how he got his start. Because ain't that what Lee Daniels did? Lee Daniels had to go to Dame Dash.
Continuing to name other examples. So all of these people who get their start and they go independent, Tiffany Haddish, looking at their background. You didn't look at this dude's background yet. Look at his background. That's what I'm saying. Ask the questions that will lead you to the answer. What is different about this person? If this person is a director and all of a sudden came up with all of this stuff that seems to be so real, right? Then
all of it seem real to me. The only thing he's done that's real is First 48.
Right. If he's come up with that, if that's what he did.
Well, he produced the show. I don't think he came up with it, but that's the only thing that I real know because they're with real police detectives at real crime scenes and shit. But other than that, everything else he's produced has been fake as hell.
So ask yourself what aligns with First 48.
Are you going to say Snow on the Bluff?
No, I'm talking about the behavior. I'm only talking about the content. The behavior of the people that he is directing to do whatever it is that he's directing them to do. What is his role in First 48?
To record, I guess. He can't tell the police how to do their job. He can just have them how to look best on camera, but he can't tell them how to go about their investigation. He's not a police officer.
He can't even tell them how to look best on camera. Why? Because he's only observing what's there in front of him, the realities. That's it. What makes it legal for him to put First 48 out? What makes somebody want to back him?
The television networks.
Why would the televisions back him?
Money. People want to see it.
Okay, so people want to see it. If I am trying to put something out that people want to see, and the thing that I'm trying to put out has graphic content, not only graphic content, but also content that could implicate serious crimes that happen against people in general, right? What's a way for me to get around that?
Not recorded.
But this is what
I'm not gonna answer
this. I stumbled upon this. how am I going to continue to put this stuff out?
Dr. Jefferson, you're not gonna get me to answer that question, ma'am. I'm
I'm
not
just
gonna do
saying.
it. I'm pulling the rush. I'm not gonna answer.
I'm just saying. So I think
Very interesting.
sometimes you have to ask difficult questions. That's all I'm saying. I'm not telling you anything that can't be told to you. I'm just saying you should do your research and then ask yourself, does this look like something that would have happened in a person that was really pursuing this particular type of career? All I'm asking you
So,
guys is to do the work. That's it.
so is this an official Dr. J conspiracy?
No, I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. I'm not saying anything is a conspiracy. I'm saying
We are going to revisit Snow on the Bluff on my channel.
I'm saying
We
revisit.
might watch it. Just cause.
You should, and you. I think you have a couple of people on there that really like doing their research, and I think that you'd be interested. I mean, you will be intrigued as to what they come up with, and you probably will learn a couple of things. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But you guys, I gotta go. I got a 3:15 and it's 3:05. It's been great. Shout out to the chat. You guys have definitely explored this conversation around accountability at its capacity. I do want you guys to continue to have a conversation about substance use and how it applies to the degradation of our culture. I want you guys to start asking yourselves the difficult questions as well about some of the things that we choose to entertain ourselves with as Black people, and ask ourselves, why do we choose these things? Like, what system is in place that really is against us? What belief system do you hold? Step into your truth and look at some of these things that shape the way you see the world around you and you see yourself in it. So I think that oftentimes when we do struggle with coming into our truths, when we struggle with, accepting what is, it's typically because we're trying to go against another thing that, for us, is quite difficult for us to accept. So do the introspective work. You know, my heart definitely goes out to the family of Keisha Coles, especially her sister that still hasn't found her father. That's a very, very common issue as well in the Black community. And we don't necessarily give light of how difficult that can be for a person trying to come into contact with a secure sense of self based on where they come from. I think everybody deserves to at least know these things and know who they're connected to instead of making assumptions. And on that particular show, she had two brothers or two cousins trying to figure out if they were the daddy just because the girl looked like him. We've got to do better. We have got to.
That was Frankie.
Yeah, Frankie. The
That
mom.
was all I'm saying. That was all a product of Frankie's drug addiction.
Yeah, but substance use culture looks like that. That's the reality. Thank you. So if we have these mindsets that perpetuate these cycles of behaviors, and we accept that substance abuse is part, or substance use is a part of our culture, we typically find ourselves abusing those same said substances. Our people in our lives end up dead. Nobody has ever even explored the intricacies of Whitney Houston's death. Nobody.
Nope. It seems like the typical entertainer overdose.
Yeah, it does. It does, until you look at the fact that her daughter died and then her daughter's
Whole family.
boyfriend.
The adopted her boyfriend which was the kid that they adopted or whatever. All three of them died the same way.
Yeah. So nobody's asked questions about that or why that is, how it is.
We need to ask how Bobby Brown outlived everybody, and he was supposed to be the worst drug addict of them all. So they were apparently lying on Bobby, or he had a better grasp on his situation than everyone else.
All I'm gonna say is start asking the difficult questions.
Oh, Doc, it sounds like a conspiracy, Doc. Are you about to say something about Bobby?
I'm not saying anything. All I'm saying is we have to ask difficult questions about the things that help perpetuate the cycle of negativity and lack of productivity in our culture. And we've got to stop allowing people to tell us that we are lesser than what we are so that we can step into and position ourselves into greater capacities of being, and we can do things that lead to positive outcomes and elevation of our culture. So if we don't want to do that, if we want to stay stuck in the mindset that we need to be in quarrel against one another and continue to argue against one another and vacate belief systems that will allow us to step into places of procreation in a healthy way for our culture, fine, do that. But don't be one of the people that can go out into the culture and go out on these streets and talk about Black Lives Matter. Don't be a person that's a hypocrite, because I'm here to call you out. Because at the end of the day, if it mattered to you, then you'd be doing more. So that's all I got, you guys. I will see you guys later. I gotta go. Bye.
Thanks for having me.
Later days, Trey. Go over there and check out Toxic Masculinity. He got some very interesting things over there. Even though he's toxic and broken, he's working on it. He'll be fixed one day.
I am not broken, ma'am.
You know, I'm just saying, call a thing. Later days.
Bye.
Money boy, money boy, money boy.
Trade.
Money boy, money boy, money boy. Trade.
Private jet flights overseas. Damn pieces coming by the